Like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre and post show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/Cubs Out Loud. Thanks to all of our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's Sunday, December 4th, 2022. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
You're welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast. I've been determining a link to episode number 674, and it's that time of the month. We have a regular show. It happens every time. It is a totally natural thing to happen. Nobody's getting...
I know what you're talking about. I knew where you were going. I'm just like, are you going to get to the point, period?
Anyways, let's do this. Nobody's.
I was so like, when did this turn into like 5th or 6th grade like health and sexuality class? Like, what? Okay. Anyways,
I'm just trying to make a joke about it being that time of the month, but not something.
Yes,
usually...
I was figuring that out.
Anyways, this month has been basically work, except it's been different type of work. Because I'm not sure if you've heard of this thing called the World Cup, where a bunch of teams from a bunch of countries go to a location and have a tournament, in a soccer tournament, or as most of the rest of the world calls it, football tournament. And this one's over in Qatar, in the Middle East. It's this tiny little country between like Saudi Arabia and the UAE. One of my coworkers decided that he wanted to go, so he did. And he's been gone for the last few weeks. He was originally scheduled to come back next week, but he's coming back tomorrow. Thank God, because it meant that the other two on-site trainers, had to basically do his job for him. And in the midst of also doing that, I also had to learn a different workflow so I can actually take over their initial training, instead of just being like, okay, done your onboarding, here you go, and then the team has to train them on the job. So, which is probably going to be a major boom for them. So half the month has been me trying to shuffle what I'm doing in my job and try to prepare for a lesson plan, and then also basically doing with our nesting. So if anything, I'm teaching them better habits. Long story as to why I say that. In the meantime, one of my D&D games has been very cerebral. We had a nice little party where everybody got knocked out except for my brother, and then people came in and tried to steal an artifact that we have, but didn't succeed. Instead, 2 of them got killed. And when my character saw the symbol of the group that they belong to, his mind split, and now he's got a split personality.
Oh.
And two of the characters, after trying to diagnose what the chieftain guy attacked with and tried to see if they could fix him, ended up getting sucked into his brain. This last session, I joined them. And that's where we ended this session. So we're on a cliffhanger. In any case, there was a lot to do with mental stuff over the past few weeks in this game. Very cerebral.
So it made you think, huh?
If you don't mind, I think that was okay.
Oh my goodness. So can we go back a moment where you said that what is it? You said the whole party got knocked out. Is that the way you phrased it?
So they had a party to being like the heroes of Bloodstone. And during it, we found out the food was poisoned. So basically everybody but my brother Chris ended up falling to the poison, which was just a sleeping poison. We just fell into a very deep sleep. And then 4 intruders came in and hacked off the hand of one of our party members, which had this vestige attuned to it. They picked it up, and instead and the hand and the body of our cohort turned into a sword. And Hikris, who was awake, attacked them and killed 2 of them while the other 2 ran.
So when you originally made that phrase, I swear on my existence, I thought you were going to say that they got knocked up.
No.
I was like, what?
No.
No. They got knocked down, but they got up again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we would have been out for quite a while if Chris hadn't decided to talk to a hag to get the antidote.
Was her name Tumbawumba?
Oh, Chumbawamba, you mean?
Whatever. I am so out of it today.
No, her name was Brynhilda.
No. Did you say that because of? Anyways, we'll discuss that.
What, Brynhilda? No, that's the name of the hag.
Oh,
no reference.
Remember that when we get to the last segment.
Okay.
Anyways. Interesting.
Yeah, something unexpected.
Oh, I totally forgot. Dragonflight launched. Latest expansion for WoW. And guess who's been playing WoW a lot this past week?
I'm going to say
lived, breathed WoW until about a year ago. A year and a half ago.
I wonder who that was.
It's fun. Dragon Reign's pretty cool.
Good.
Nice.
Anyways. In other words, I had a boarding month. Damn it.
I wouldn't call that boring. It's just stuff you did. So I went to see my family for Thanksgiving for the first time in 2020, 2021. Yeah, about 2 years. So
I thought you were gonna say 20 some years. I'm gonna be like, what?
First time in 30 years. No, so anyway, I went down to Louisville and visited my family for Thanksgiving. It was a good time. We had a last minute shift of things. It was going to be at one of my cousin's place, but due to illness, I don't believe COVID, we shifted basically to a conference room at a hotel that people were staying at. The hotel was gracious enough, I guess, to allow us to use the space, or we paid for it, one or the other. And it wasn't a lot of us because, again, there was illness and there was work and other things going on that prevented people from attending. But it was a decent amount of time. I got to spend time with my mom. I got to spend time with some of my other cousins and family, and had a really great conversation with one of my cousins in particular. I was really happy to have that conversation with her because, as I've mentioned maybe a few times on the show, I'm not out to everyone, but I also am not hiding anything like on Facebook or whatever anymore. So they know.
You haven't
So
specifically told them.
yeah, certain people. Like my mom knows, and my brother knows, and his wife knows. Like I've actually told him, and then a few other cousins I've actually explicitly told. And this was the most recent one. Although she already knew, but she saw the ring on the finger, and she had been on Facebook, so she knew what was going on. So 2+2 was gay. So that part. So there you go. But yeah, it was a good time. I was happy to be back in Louisville because it had been a while. I didn't do too much. It was a shorter trip than usual, just because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time away. And then speaking of family, literally 5-6 hours ago, the chorus we did our holiday concert family for this weekend. Audience was very good. We were in a new space with a new interim artistic director, excuse me, and a new accompanist and all of this stuff. So it was rather interesting being in all of these new fun places and doing everything. And the concert went really well. We had our cast party almost right after, which as the new VP of membership, I had to coordinate. So it was my first time kind of doing that. And I did other stuff for this concert for the first time. And I think it all went pretty well. We had a decent amount of guys on stage, and the songs were really good. And just, I literally like 10 minutes ago got an email from our artistic director indicating like congratulations and bravo. So there you go. Yay. And if you can't tell, I'm a little tired. I'm not tired in my voice and just in demeanor. So I apologize in advance if I'm not as wow. That's probably why I'm getting very punny, because I'm trying to pay attention, and that's where the jokes will come from. So apologies in advance.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. But that's me, Gary.
So November was interesting because I basically worked a half a month. Sorry. 5 of the working days in November, I had to be traveling. So I was working, but I wasn't in the office working, I guess is the way I should be phrasing that. And then I was a poll worker at my local polling place for election day, which was a very interesting process and educational. I highly recommend people consider doing it. That if you are interested at all in terms of how the voting process goes, if you contact your local administration, for me it was at the county level, they had posted way back in like September, beginning of October, that they possibly were going to have a worker shortage. And if people were interested in volunteering, and there is a stipend that they give you for doing that you could sign up. And I did. And then lo and behold, on Tuesday, November 1st, 1 week before election day, they're like, hey, we've had some cancellations. So I figured out I was on like the backup wait list, basically. So I agreed and ended up taking Tuesday the 8th off from both jobs and put in a 14.5-hour day.
Oh, wow.
But I would definitely do it again. I found it very insightful. It helped me feel good about the process and how things work. So I would recommend that to people. And then we had Veterans Day, so we were all off that day. And then the following week was Friendsgiving. So I traveled down to Damon's neck of the woods and spent a few days down there, and then got sick. So I took an extra day off from work and then came back to find out that another nurse was no longer with us at work. So that's twice now I've taken a vacation and gotten sick at the end of the vacation and come back to one last staff member. So there's kind of a private internal joke that I'm not allowed to take vacation.
Gary, no.
Right. Which, to be honest, next year I don't really have any significant vacations. I have one extended weekend. That's not true. Towards late summer, I'm going to be taking a part of a week off. But so yeah,
another reason to take some time off in I don't know, June maybe.
Okay. Well, of course it's Pride season. So, and then there was Thanksgiving, which is a long weekend. So yeah, I only got a half a month's work, which ended up leading into Hell Week. For me, it was Hell Week because I had to go to a mandatory state meeting. So the meetings were half day Tuesday afternoon, all day Wednesday, and then half day Thursday morning. Although I was only there for about an hour, and then I left early, which I already had permission to because it was what? Oh, that's right, World AIDS Day. It was December 1st. This past Thursday, and I had to be back in Erie, and it was a 4-hour drive each way. So I needed to get back so I could turn around and finish up the preparation day of on site and then put on the event. So, and that was, I put in a lot of work time this past 2 weeks, but this past week specifically, 5 hours a night sleeping and all that jazz. And my body doesn't like stress, so it likes to take it out in various ways that, of course, then complicates just life. So, So I've done a lot of relaxing and kind of vegging and sort of sleep. It's not quite fully sleeping this weekend, so it's also why I'm kind of tired. So I'm looking forward to things calming down because now we're actually in the last month of the year. And for me, at least with work, things kind of chill the hell out. So, although I do need to get some very specific things kind of done, I just realized in the next 10 days, roughly. Well, part of it has to do with the fact, for us, when it comes to year end, money to spend, I basically can't count the last half of the month because of the way the county does financing and crap. And the state doesn't recognize anything cut. Even if you get the invoice in the bill, if you cut the check after the first of the following month, it doesn't count. It counts it as when the check was cut, not when the invoice and everything was received, or the PO was cut. Yeah, it's a real pain in the rear end. So everything has to be fully kind of executed by the end of the month, and I can't rely on the end of the month because of the holidays and blah blah.
Right.
So that's where I was just looking at the calendar. I'm like, oh yeah, in about 10 days I got to spend a whole bunch of money, which I'm probably not going to get to. Anyways. So yeah, this month was it was a very stressful month, in various ways. It had some good points to it.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's about it.
Getting into the holiday season, and now time for this. Gary, what's been going on in the Twitterverse?
So over on Twitter, we got a few new followers, and we would like to thank the following individuals for following us on our Twitter account: Just a Bear in SP, Bear by the Pool SD, Branham Matto.
Have fun.
Yeah, I know both of you can see this one. So I'm just going to spell it out: WXODPPXEHANTX50. So I'm thinking this is supposed to say something, and I can't think of what it is. but Zod PPZ Huntix. I don't know. Something. Anyways, my apologies. Ivan Veslenko, Hot Chubby BR, Jeremiah 37 COL, Diego Row 66142365, 6 Dab GVPJNOLUBJO. That's gotta be something saying something. 6 Dab GVPJ no lube jack off. Anyways, and David E 930634191. So thank you all for following us on Twitter, where there are fewer and fewer people these days.
Right.
And then Damon, we didn't have anything over in the YouTube land to speak of. So, Mr. Jeffrey, how about Facebook?
Over in the Facebooks, we've got the following follows with Xavier Champion, Meti Zigashi, is Martiex Sierra Mendacha. I think that's how it's pronounced, with the C with the thing underneath it. Robert Morin, MD Sazid, that's literally twice. Rodriguez Arthur, Timothy Tarr, Bartel Serengi, Carlos Gonza, Robert Andy Wilcox, Lee Savoy, Henry Stanley, John Anthony Menti, yeah, Coochie Kid, Minton John, Paul Thompson. It doesn't say Paul S. Thompson, which kind of makes me disappointed, but that's okay. We still like Paul Thompson. Austin S. Smith and Posia. Also, over on Vimeo, somebody spotted that we did have 2 videos posted in Vimeo. And 2 of the videos that were posted in Vimeo, we also have here too on YouTube. For our COL TV episodes way back during the first generation, where I actually participated in a Mr. Hot Bear contest in 2009, and we filmed it. Part 1s and 2s were there, and Wise Guy liked it, and he also followed us on Vimeo.
I was laughing just so that our listeners and audience understand. We haven't used Vimeo in years, so every once in a blue moon, the fact that we get a notification that someone liked us on there and or follows us, it amuses me. I'm like, oh, okay,
that's nice.
It would kind of be like someone being like, hey, you got a new friend on MySpace or whatever, and I'd be like, what? Okay. Although I think Vimeo is far more relevant than MySpace these days, but anyways. Just saying.
So Gary, can you give us any updates that we might have over on Patreon?
Yes, we would like to give a happy 3-year anniversary to our buddy level patron, Lloyd.
Yay!
Lloyd joined us November 3rd of 2019 and has been with us for 3 years. So, yay!
I can't believe we've been using Patreon for that long.
Oh, we're going on 5 years.
The ginger bears love
you.
Yes,
yeah. We would also like to give some Big Bear Cub hugs to our patrons overall. So at the Cubster level, we have Charles W., Daniel C., and Michael K. At the Uber level, we have Dave T., Lee, Michael Q., and Tim S., and plus our buddies Lloyd G., Michael V., and Owen R.
Yay!
So thank you all.
Thank you for being patrons.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We much appreciate it. And Jeff will definitely highly appreciate it come May when we have to pay the hosting fees again.
Huh.
Yep. Despite my raise that I've gotten over the past year because moving position, it's still quite helpful.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Thank you, patrons.
Also, Gary, tell us about this past month of shows.
So this past month we had COL670, which was the What's Going On for the month of October, that kicked off the month, and then we had COL671. Let's talk about kink series episode. Drummer Magazine returns. So Tony, aka Cubses, joined us, and we had a conversation about the possible return of print media, and how we kind of feel about our history a little bit with smut, so to speak, and like the possibility that it may be making a comeback. And if you're not into kink necessarily, I still think you might like it as an episode for listening and viewing audience, because we talked just in general about the idea of print media going digital. But also what's interesting is Drummer is offering a print option. Now, granted, the print option is a little pricey, but if you are a connoisseur or a collector, that might be something of interest. So, and then COL672 was our hopefully once ever in a lifetime experience on the road show of World Beer Weekend 2022 with Damon and I, aka the COVID show, where David and I had planned. We were both in Orlando, Florida for World Beer Weekend, with AJ and others who have been on the podcast before. And the first half of my vacation was great, and then the second half of my vacation not so much. And so Damon and I took mitigation measures. If you watch the episode, you'll see that it looks a little strange. And also the audio is not obviously ideal because it's not our usual setup. So Damon and I are literally about 6 to 7 feet apart with this like divider wall kind of thing between us. And yeah, we slapped it together, with spit and duct tape, made it work. Yeah.
I think together for you.
I think it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
Good.
Obviously not the highest quality, but who cares? It was fine.
Yeah.
I got a chance to watch it, and I think it was very neat. It was well put together.
Yeah.
And thank you, Damon and Gary, both of you, because I know Damon filmed a bunch of stuff, and Gary slapped it together.
So I was going to say something for our patrons to know. If you didn't happen to view or listen to that particular episode, that one is uniquely different because you get extra stuff. Like usually the patrons get more, but in this case it was 2 different cuts, so to speak. So the public version is just pretty much our conversation, Damon and I, and then there's other things that we kind of had like done that got inserted and some other things. So yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
It was one for the books. We'll say that.
It was one for the books. I mean, yeah. I mean, hopefully, knock on wood, like we don't have to do that again.
We used to do on the road shows, or you guys used to do on the road shows a lot more often, but due to certain things that happen in this world, we had been on a hiatus for a couple years, and this was the return of the On the Road show, and it was not like a previous On the Road show for sure.
Right.
It was good. It was good. Well done.
Yeah. It also was a reminder, kind of a lesson in pivoting, like circumstances, but also thinking ahead. Like if we're going to do something again, we should probably just like consider a little bit more about like in terms of like, scheduling and some other stuff. But yeah. So, and then last week was COL673 Landscape of Relationship series episode with Dr. Edward Angelini Cook. He joined us and we discussed smorgasbords, specifically relationship smorgasbords. So if you're into the Swedish meal buffet concept, this is not exactly that, although we do talk about that in the episode as well. So
try to make as much food analogies as we possibly could.
You're welcome. I had so much fun writing that synopsis because I was like, what the fuck can I put in this thing that'll give you the idea?
Can't remember if I actually inserted that into the episode.
What are the food?
Oh, no, I did because this was a regular one. Never mind. Excuse me.
Yeah. What other food puns can I throw in this thing?
Yeah.
Can you tell we're all daddy cubs? Some would say, "Oh, you're not a dad, so you can't make any dad jokes." And I say, "Yes, we are. We're faux pas. We might be a faux pas, but hey."
Oh, good Lord.
Anyways,
I thought it was bad because I was going to make the statement that we swelled enough children to like be fathers, but that's another issue.
Oh. And so,
how about if we do this? All right, enough of that. All right, I got two. Strangely enough, I got two.
oh,
One of them is sexy. One of them is sexy in a different type of way. G-rated.
oh, hello.
Hi.
So first one, it was Spank Break Prime at Frankly Blank. He said, "I took this for a friend, but fuck, I look good." And I have to say, fuck, he looks good.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's one of those like angled above the head. I mean, he's lying down, so it's kind of still on the side, but you know what I mean. And coming down, he's kind of flexing on his left arm, and you can see right down his chest, his belly, and you see his nice penis sticking up there. And needless to say, he's also got an adorable face.
It's quite inviting.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting on a chair. I don't think it's quite a couch. I think he's sitting in a soft-sided chair. But yeah, he is as naked as the way he came into the world, and he is quite nice to look at. And
cute little smile.
Yes. Well, and the lovely at staff full mast.
Oh, that part. Yeah, that definitely helps.
Well, I mean, it's totally, just begging to be
put in the mouth.
Have, it needs attention. So
yeah, it's begging for, practically begging. I mean, it's
demanding
almost. And I accept. Okay.
There you go. In addition, I do have one called hashtag new profile pic, where somebody got a new profile pic, which is a very artsy art version of what would probably have been a picture of him. Frank Bloomer, aka that Frank, or not Frank Bloomer, Paul Bloomer, at that Paul Bloomer. And I just think it's very well done. Plus, he also hits a bunch of my buttons. Bald and bearded, and based off of the rest of the shape of his, well, got the thick neck, and
he's from
he's thick. To be, we 3 C's.
He's from Northern Ireland. We may have a problem.
Are you sure that's a problem?
It sounds more like Damon's the one that has the problem.
The actual account that he posted on isn't sexy, but he had a new profile pitch, and it's adorable and beautiful. He's actually it looks like he's had a few. Oh, here's one. I want to see where that tweet is, because there's another one. May have to get looking at his media where it's an art one, but he's shirtless, and he's
oh no, whatever will you do?
Oh no. Anyway. Wait, hold on.
He's a hot. Oof.
Yes, mama.
Anyways,
I just want to thank Paul for being involved in a prep for HIV campaign. There's a beautiful promo image of him back around November 13th that he's in, and yay, kudos to you, sir. Put the word out.
Yeah.
Steven, what do you got?
I also have two. Neither one of them really came with titles, so I gave my own titles. The first one is from RBT125 or at BeefyBear19, and I titled it "Meet Me in the Sauna," and it is a
Right there.
wonderful picture of this bear of a man. I'm assuming it's a sauna, given the wood and whatnot. It could not be a sauna, but I have a feeling it is. But yeah,
I'd say it is.
yeah. Big, bearded, bellied, tasteful. Because while he is nude, he is not. He has his hand covering his crotch. But yeah, I love the lighting. I don't know why, but the lighting is really like getting me for this.
Well, all I got to say is his picture of him in a bathroom from behind on December 1st is absolutely like astounding. That ass.
Okay.
Holy.
Hold on. I haven't gotten there yet. Oh, that. Oh, yeah. Yes, that too. Definitely
Yes.
that.
He's a big old mountain of a man, and he got white butt cheeks because he likes to wear like Speedo-esque bikini style swim shorts and gets tanned.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. Pretty much, he never shows his penis, but he shows everything else.
Well, if you go to September 8th, you kinda.
Oh yeah, that banana didn't do a good job.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too. But
I mean, I like bananas, so that works for me. And I'm not just saying that to be cheeky,
I love how quick Gary was like, "Where's the penis? Where's the penis? Where's the penis? Oh, there's a picture. There we go."
Well, no, I'm just like scrolling through his media, like he's beautiful, and like I'm like, wow, you're stunning and very distracting, and so
he does like this. He definitely does not. So, FYI, he does not show his penis on
very often.
Very often,
or full on intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not an OnlyFans like promotional style account.
Yeah. He intentionally is not like, I'm not showing your penis. Wow. Yeah, he is a beautiful. And I just followed. There we go.
Yeah, so did I.
Thank
like
you.
He is the epitome of someone I would get all stupid around. I'd be like,
nice.
You're
Anyways.
You guys, like, See, y'all get stupid around people.
One of those things where the tongue goes.
Well, no. I get quiet, but I'm also kind of. But the reason why I'm quiet is because I'm stupid. Right, like I'm stupefied and I'm afraid to open my mouth and say anything because that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I'm just going to be a blubbering, incoherent idiot.
You're hot. I mean,
God damn his ass.
I know, right?
Well, no, because he keeps showing it off a couple times. Like he does these peekaboo shots, and I'm like, ugh.
Makes you want to dive in. Anyways, moving on.
Let me. Okay.
I think David
won
5 more seconds this week.
I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4.
I'm good.
Okay, there we go. So my other one, I titled "Scary Isn't the Word." It is from That Nudes Dude, and he says, "Look how fierce and scary he is," and it's about at Andy Berserker, who I've tweeted about in the past before. And this picture is that at Andy_Berserker. This appears to be a writing shot. I will call it that. I am assuming that nudes dude is in the midst of.
He is sitting on his crotch area.
Yes,
Whether
yes.
part of what is normally in the crotch area on the man,
Right.
is where that specifically is, we cannot be 100% sure, but we can make
Yes.
some assumptions.
Yes.
Boy, it is highly suggestive.
Uh-huh. And
If
and
Andy is not inside of nudes dude, like the fantasy says he is, so
yeah.
it's a really good like impromptu kind of like picture.
Yeah.
And Andy Berserker is, a great looking guy.
Yes.
So
Yes. Sexy daddy bear. Shocker. Damon likes his sexy daddy bear. Shocker.
I'm so surprised.
Right. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, that news dude is quite, handsome himself. Like, I'm not gonna get that twisted. But
Yeah,
and he has a
sure.
very beautiful penis that is at attention in this picture.
Yep.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not my Jim, but he's somebody's.
He's all right.
Well, wait, are you saying nudes dude isn't?
Yeah, the news
News?
dude isn't. Andy is,
Okay.
but
I was
Nudes
just going to
dude,
say it.
never
If you
did.
go through Andy's, you will see that he does role play Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm. I'm aware.
I mean, Button.
I'm quite aware.
I mean,
Maybe I
Jeff
should hop
will
over to
probably
him.
spank to it later. Anyways, we've been doing this podcast for years, kids. Anyways,
His his Twitter isn't that great
Who's Twitter?
for me, at least.
Andy's?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's fine.
Well, most of what he posts.
Daddyland. I mean, it's not often. Like, he doesn't post it every time, but if you go back to November 16th, which I almost picked as my picture. But that's that. That's me. Gary?
So I also have two. The first one's called Happy Friday, Gents. And this is from, I think it's Al_ATX.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Happy Friday, gents. Hope your weekend is great. Wine tour for me with friends and lumberjack gear night too. And I just love the fact that he's like in this kind of thermal, blue long sleeve kind of like shirt kind of top with these nicely fitting jeans that are like showing off his thick thighs and his like bulgy kind of area, but he's wearing suspender bracer type straps, like, and I just love guys that, wear them and like, I don't want to say that all guys wearing them look hot, but he looks great. They're black leather, they're skinny. They fit him well. He just looks good. Yeah. And for those of you, because I don't think I said, if you don't know what bracers are, we call them suspenders as well. But yeah, I just really like that look. So that's picture number one. And then picture number two is called Come Let's Have Fun on the Beach. And this is from Oz Photography 3. So that's OZ Photography and then the number 3 at the end. And they apparently have an OnlyFans. But I love this photographic composition of a nude, muscular, thick, chubby man who is in the surf at the beach. I'm going to presume that it's sunset. As opposed to sunrise, just because of the way things kind of look in the color composition, but there's like water movement and waves and there's like kind of a rock and he's walking away from you. But it's just like, I would buy this photograph or as a print and put it up. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
I like that picture. Just a nice picture.
Yeah. No, it's, I'm kind of laughing because I'm scrolling through the notes. People are appreciating the daddy and the daddy ass. So yeah, it's and it's just something. And I'm not even following Oz photography. I don't think it was just something that kind of came up on my feed. You know, one of those like so and so liked this, and I was like, oh, okay.
You, huh?
Yeah, on their Twitter it says aesthetic, erotic, soulful, erotic art with substance.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess I am going to follow them as photography. Damn. They have some really good shots.
Oh. I'm not looking at Oz photography. I'm looking at Al. I just got his down to November 26th. His tasteful. Well, that's not tasteful. That's nude. He's in Austin, by the way.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I wonder what ATX stands for.
Well, for a second I thought it meant something else. I thought it was ATL, and it wasn't.
No.
Sorry, that was me. That was my mental like.
You were distracted. It's okay.
Moving on.
He is a sexy bear. Anyway, that is penis.
Yes.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Sorry.
Moving on into the links. So this past month, a YouTube launched something that they refer to as primetime channels in movies and such. So if you go to YouTube and you go into the movies and TV section, there is some free stuff that you can watch, movies and such, but there's also stuff, they have what they refer to as primetime channels, which includes popular services such as, let me actually look at the full list so I can keys appropriately. So under the Explore section, go to movies and TV, and you'll see primetime channels. You'll see Showtime, Stars, Law and Crime, Shudder, Epix, which I think I saw an article saying that they're actually changing their name to MGM Plus, which is driving me insane because I'm starting to get sick of these services saying they're such and such plus. AMC Plus, Hallmark Movies Now, Deco, Vision Live, Gaia, VIX Plus, Curiosity Stream, Acorn TV, a whole bunch of different things. These are streaming services, actually. One of those being, and Gary and I believe we're both subscribed. I'm not sure if he canceled it for right now, but Paramount Plus is one of these things. So you can essentially, if you don't want to like create a completely separate Paramount Plus account or anything, just want to use your Google account because you already got one for YouTube, you can actually sign up for it to here and watch everything right through YouTube. You don't have to leave YouTube. One of the shows that is on there is called Star Trek Prodigy. It is actually a show. It's supposed to be the Nickelodeon show, the Star Trek show, and it's good. It's good, and includes Kate Mulgrew as Hologram Janeway and Admiral Janeway. So
yeah, I've been watching Prodigy. I just got caught up on the most latest episode.
I haven't watched it yet, but
it's interesting. The thing I think about with the Star Trek universe, I find is I'm like, wow, they're really trying to like fill in gaps, so to speak. And yet at times I feel like they turn themselves into pretzel nuts trying to explain how some things have existed that we've never heard of before or have been referenced. So it just kind of amuses me just the slightest bit because I'm like, okay, like if that's like how you do that. And I'm not complaining. I just as a regular person, I'm like, oh, all right. But yeah, no, it's good. It's meant for kids. So it's made in conjunction with Nickelodeon, and it premiered at the beginning of the year. They split the first season into like 2 portions, and just now I think they're in the past couple months starting to air the first half of the season on Nickelodeon itself. And the reason I mention that is because I've enjoyed it as an adult, but there have been an episode or two or some moments where I'm like, well, this is obviously very much like for children. Like plot, character kind of device things. And so, yeah. But I like the animation style. I think it's really good. And it also, not to give anything away, no spoilers, but if you watch it, Star Trek answers the ultimate question that I think has not really been looked into a whole lot about what it means, what happens because of first contact, and what that whole stuff is. It's very intriguing. I'm like, wow, they're really taking on something important.
Kind of one of those things where it's like, why do they have this prime directive? And why is first contact an important part of dealing with the prime directive? So.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where that's going to go, knowing where things are at now, currently in the series, in this first season. I'm curious to see how that keeps developing and what comes out of it. So that's all I'm going to say. I want to talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So,
but one of the reasons why I wanted to point out that also you can basically subscribe and watch everything on Paramount Plus via YouTube is because the trailer, which I'm using as a link, goes to the YouTube page, which is another way you can sign up, is actually go to your YouTube page. So.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you got?
So over on Disney Plus, a couple of things this past month. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to do this real quick. Okay. Well, because I wanted to put them in release order. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special on Disney Plus, was made by James Gunn, who made the first and second volumes of Guardians of the Galaxy, also the volume 3, which is coming out next year. Interestingly, he decided he wanted to make a holiday special. And when this got announced, a lot of people were like, what? But then when you find out that James Gunn is a huge fan of the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
This isn't that. But if you've ever seen the Star Wars holiday special, you see what he's done. And the little things that like are an homage, but not directly. It's not syrupy, sweet, or sappy or whatever. And there are some big freaking like plot kind of timeline contextual reveal things that happen in the 1 hour. It's not even an hour. I think it's like 43 minutes or whatever.
Oh Lord.
8 minutes. Like it's fun. And it's interesting because some of the, kind of YouTube commentators have been discussing, like, it seems that Disney Plus is moving in this direction of like they're releasing things on their platform. And if you go to movies and you don't know who characters are, or you're not aware of something, it's probably because you don't have a Disney Plus account and you haven't seen the things they've released on there. And when, that this came up a year ago as a discussion, like, will they really go in that direction, or is everything going to kind of exist in its own bubble? So when you go to the movie theater as a layperson, you don't really need to know these other things, and you still don't need to know them, but like they're introducing characters and plots and different things. So it's very interesting.
Interesting.
So James Gunn decided to reveal some things, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah, but it was fun. It was good fun. Just know you want to eat crackers because the Cheese Whiz is there.
Oh God.
So just be prepared for some of that a little bit, especially the opening. But yeah. So if you kind of like that stuff from Marvel and the cinematic universe and all that jazz, you'll probably find this amusing in that. Next up, it just got released on November 30th. Willow, the 2022 series. I want to say series, but it's not really TV anymore. It's streaming. So this is a continuation off of the film that is like 37, 38 years ago. I loved the film Willow, so I am in the fan kind of camp, so to speak, that I'm excited to see this. And they released as a premiere the first 2 episodes out, I think, out of an 8-episode series. This whole thing in context of the movie universe for Willow takes place 20 years later. And this is about what has happened in 2 decades since the first movie, when Mad Mardigan and Sorsha and Willow and all of them, beat the evil queen, the sorceress, and what comes out of that. So it's very interesting. I watched a recap recently where they talked about it, and they really pointed out all the parallels between this and Lord of the Rings that I never caught before. It's kind of embarrassing. The amount of things, and now there's a fellowship, and there's like wizards and sorcerers and bad and good and magic and like little people, and it's just really comical how they all these parallels. I was like, oh wow, I guess that was pretty fair. But Warwick Davis is back as Willow. It's great to see him on screen. I've always liked it. So if you back to our previous episode, I can't remember what number, where we talked about nostalgia. Yes, they are totally like trying to take money right out of my damn wallet.
And you're huge.
But I'm happy.
I mean, to be fair, they already had your money. Because you pay for it monthly.
Well, I pay for Disney Plus as a yearly subscription.
Oh, yearly. You're yearly. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah. Every little penny of a discount counts for me. So they already have my money for the whole year. But honestly, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. When Disney Plus came out 3 years ago, I was really hesitant to sign up and join. But bit the bullet. I got a hell of a deal. It was a multi-year one-time fee. And it within the first 8 months, I was absolutely sold. In the first 3 months, I was like, I don't think it was a bad investment. And as time has gone by, it's just gotten, for me, better.
More value add, more
better.
value add, more value add, more value add.
Yeah. So I've definitely enjoyed it, and this is why I like Disney Plus. I am seeing content that I wouldn't see in other places. Like they've really created a platform where they're not taking things to theaters, and especially things like a series where you can do more character development and you can kind of get more in depth on building plot and nuance and different stuff like that. And it is cinematic. They did film it. In the outdoors, they're not using the volume. I mean, so it harkens back quite a bit. And I don't think it's super cheesy. A lot of critics have really applauded it and like it. I haven't seen that the audience is really super excited about it, which I'm finding to be a little interesting, because the same thing I think kind of happened with Andor, which I talked about before. Loved the first season of Andor. Can't wait for the second season. It's very psychological spy thrillery in the Star Wars universe. But yeah, it seems like the audience is it's interesting to me. If it's not a major name character and an IP with certain actors or whatever, it's people are kind of not either paying attention or not engaging. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? They've got such good stuff there.
Wow.
So
Rotten Tomatoes, it's 83% critics and the 28% average audience score
for Willow.
Yeah. Which is wild because it's only 2 episodes.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 6. So no,
I think it's 8.
According to what they said on Rotten Tomatoes, it said 6. So, which may not necessarily, it may actually be 8, but they just had the wrong number or something.
Because it's going into January of next year. Let me go back and look. Because it's 8 episodes. January 11th is the end of the season, which there's some speculation. I don't think it's been publicly said whether or not it'll go to a second season. Plot wise, that remains to be seen. But anyways, so the only key thing to be aware of, if you weren't already in the know, is that Val Kilmer is not in this series, at least season 1, because of their medical things that they've been dealing with. So they did get most of the main cast back in some aspects. So yeah, it's interesting. But so I just can recommend if people were really into that fantasy kind of genre film and liked it. And that's what's interesting, because when it got released in the movie theaters, it wasn't a bomb, but it wasn't also I don't think anybody would call it lucrative. So like it didn't take off or anything. It didn't become like a major, brand of any kind. But it kind of became I don't want to say a cult classic, but really when it went to video and people had it in their homes and you could see it on cable, like then it really kind of took off. So
right.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Anyway, so I suggest people check it out. If you're a fan of that universe and that story and those characters, I think you'll like it. So yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And with that, that's the end. Although I think you guys are tired, so let's get through this quickly. Likewise, contact us. You can pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email, cubsoutloud@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate place of the URL. And you can also join our social entourage chat at Telegram at tinyurl.com/telegram-COL. If you want to know when we're planning on recording these shows, you can check out our Google Calendar at tinyurl.com/calendar-COL. You can get various accoutrements such as this different style Cubs Out Loud shirt that Gary and I are both wearing.
Yes, unexpectedly, both of us wore the Alter Design logo long sleeve today.
Nice.
You can't get the design that Damon has, though. We haven't launched that. Sorry. But we do have other designs. You can check that out at zazzledazzle.com/cubsoutloud. You can find some of the designs we have on there were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at tpublic.com/user/SmashyTheBear. You can also become a Patreon patron at patreon.com/cubsoutloud, or if you want to just send us a donation to help us with those bills or help us improve the podcast, you can do that at paypal.me/cubsoutloud. We also encourage you to subscribe to the podcast through Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Also leave a review and a rating, because the more reviews and ratings, the more we get up in the algorithm.
Yeah.
And more people can find us. You can find me anywhere on the internet as Box at Box Puppy Box, Cub Box, something or other. Or for the last month, Windgem, WINDGEM on Twitch. We are actually wrapping up the current section of Bears and Dragons for Louisiana Player, and I don't feel like trying to find more. So we're going to
okay.
shut that down soon.
Oh.
Damon.
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79 on most bear-related sites or on Facebook. Or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter. The Twitter is definitely not safe for work. I don't know yet what I'm going to do if Twitter falls. Gary.
Good point. If you want to find me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gaber73. We will probably have an episode soon, I'm thinking, where we're going to discuss about the future of Twitter and its potential replacements. Because I've actually been doing some research recently, looking at some different platforms.
How come I feel like this is going to be kind of a slightly different rehash of something we've already talked about a few years back?
Well, kind of, but the reality is, if the porn goes elsewhere, are we going to follow the porn? Maybe that's the question.
Probably.
So, but anyways, like I said, if you want to find me anywhere online, just type in Gaber73.
Remember that. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Ciao for now.